setting. With an online class, the students just film around their house. Most students were happy to show off their gaming setup and action figures. A student named Jacob put his camera on a tripod and filmed a dead oak tree in his backyard for about 5 minutes. For continuity adding, I normally have students film a chase sequence or a snowball fight. For online students, just film it themselves cooking or playing with their pets. Cobb submitted a video of himself tying a noose. He then hung a mannequin on the same dead oak tree. I started to get creeped out, but I had to put on a brave face. Horror and film students had always gone hand in hand. I don't want to appear like I was easily spooked. For the next assignment, Jacob submitted a clip of a man wearing a medieval yet jester costume and a smiling mask dancing around the dead oak tree. It was in black and white, and it was beyond disturbing. I'm used to horror movies being submitted to me by students who were gory and wild and fun. This clip was just eerie. After class, Jacob messaged me privately and asked if I was sick of seeing the same tree over and over. Against my preference, I said no. If he found a muse which inspired him, then he should stick with it as long as he can. It felt like the right thing to say at the time. I found out from other professors that Jacob had begun incorporating the dead oak tree into all that he did. In photography class, he retouched a photo of a car crash onto a photo of the dead oak tree. In digital illustrations class, he drew the dead oak tree with a bunch of people hanging from it. Meanwhile, an aspiring YouTuber named Matt asked me if he could submit a Let's Play for an assignment. I would normally say no, but because everybody was in home isolation at the time, I thought, why not? Just add a lot of narration. Matt then invited me to watch him play PUBG live on Twitch. When I did, I was amused to see that Jacob was one of his team members. I asked Matt after the stream how he knew Jacob. Matt said that Jacob was his neighbor only a few houses down the road from him. Matt told me what happened to Jacob back when they were in middle school. Jacob was home alone and a man knocked on the door, telling Jacob that he used to live in that house. The man asked his father to build him a tree house, and just when the father was about to finish it, he fell from the tree and broke his neck. It's been over 2 decades since he moved away, and the man told Jacob he just wanted to see the oak tree again. Jacob didn't let him inside, but said that he can go around and look at it in the backyard. Jacob played video games until his parents came home, where they found the man hanging from the tree. The semester after, in early 2021, Jacob wasn't taking any of my classes, but a cinematography professor video called me about one of Jacob's videos. The assignment was to light up a night scene, and Jacob just filmed a handheld puff shot of him circling around the tree with a flashlight. She told me she yelled at Jacob for submitting something like that instead of something more professional. Jacob logged off, and she wondered if she had made a mistake. Other students noticed Jacob's obsession with the dead oak tree as well, and started talking to me about it. They told me Jacob also dropped from all the classes. A few days later, at about 11 PM, Matt was live streaming and I was watching him on Twitch. I was shocked to see Jacob burst through Matt's bedroom door. He was covered in cuts and bruises. Shards of glass were all over his body, and his shirt was soaked in blood. Fresh blood was still dripping down from his forehead. He fell out of his chair, screaming at the top of his lungs, rightfully freaked out. I'll give Matt credit for not cursing and chasing Jacob out of his room. Matt asked Jacob what was wrong. Jacob looked into the camera and asked if I'm watching. He told me to check the video he submitted. There were about 20 people in the chat. Some of them were my students. I added a dependable student in the chat, asking her to call 911 and told Matt to render basic first aid for Jacob. Just when I was about to call the police myself, I got a notification that someone had uploaded a large file to our department's file storage. I opened it and it was a video clip said to be uploaded by Jacob's username. It showed Jacob placing a camera on the back seat of his car. He turned from his driver's seat and stared into the camera. My mouth was wide open when I saw Jacob, without turning back around to face forward, just stepping on the gas and crashed into the dead oak tree. The next story is called Every Year in My Village There's a Time During Which Everybody Blacks Out for 24 Hours. In 2015, I remained conscious. The 9th of June, historical day for some, ordinary day for others, and birthday to many. However, in the village I was born and raised in, it is the day of a big event that went from a strange supernatural occurrence to the most feared phenomenon in our community. It is said to have started in 1931, a whole day or 24 hours during which everybody and everything just shut down, and as a result no device could never be used to document what events exactly occur in that time frame. You read correctly, I wrote events because on the next day everyone usually wakes up to a surprise that can be either very funny or utterly disastrous. From the seniors' residents' testimonies, after the first blackouts, people used to just wake up in random places with no recollection of how they found themselves there. Things then evolved, taking a lighter tone, and people began finding themselves in bars in other villagers' houses upon waking up, just to give a few examples. The most common occurrence was called the after party, as most people would apparently gather at a random place, feast all throughout the blackout, and wake up the next day with hangovers, sometimes half naked, and again no memories about the events. Those events gave birth to a very funny story, and speculations that helped people to cope with the strangeness of the blackout, until things took a much darker tone. Unfortunately, the most recent blackout from 1983 introduced the whole village to a new form of terror. Honestly, just imagine being on the verge of passing out or sleeping, not knowing if you or your loved ones will ever wake up. The funny stuff was still happening, but along with terrifying things. One time a woman drowned in another's bathtub. Another time several children went missing and were never found. Just to give a few examples. There was at least one death to expect and discover after every blackout from 1983. The most gruesome case was that of a girl named Hazel who woke up with a knife in her hand and next to the eviscerated body of a woman. Following the incident, she was forced to flee the village for good. Because of those deaths, the villagers started to believe evil supernatural forces to be culprits and began locking or even chaining themselves before every blackout to no avail. In 2015, my parents, my older sister Vivian, my younger sister Carla, and myself, Terence, decided to try something new. Worried about us going out or anyone in our house during the lockdown, we put salt at every door and window, hoping to stay safe. For extra precaution, we locked ourselves in our respective rooms and slid kept on increasing by the minute. I then tried to read the time on my phone, but it was suddenly switched off. I noticed a strange darkness surrounding me, and it did not take me long to realize that the electricity was gone in the whole village. I retrieved my flashlight, but it would not switch on, just like any other device in my possession. I felt perfectly normal and wondered if I would just wake up the next morning without remembering anything, or if maybe the 84th blackout did not just occur at all, or only affected electricity and electronic devices. This is when I heard loud bangs on the door as one of us tried to kick it open. After at least 5 kicks, the person had succeeded, and I thought it could be my father coming to our rescue after realizing that the blackout did not occur. "Dad," I called, not getting any response. "Dad, is that you?" I asked again. I could hear the person walking calmly towards my door. "I think we're still lucid," I said before hearing the person kick on my door. I jumped back, surprised by such a behavior, while the person kept on kicking and successfully broke the door at the 4th attempt. I could not believe my eyes. It was Carla, my 9-year-old little sister. "You," she spoke with a deep and adult male voice. "You are not a vessel. Why? Why are you not a vessel?" she asked, but I could not answer, paralyzed by her shining white eyes. "How did you do that?" Carla, what's that?" I managed to ask. "Carla is unavailable, you stupid piece of shit," she replied to my absolute bewilderment. What? "You broke the covenant. You broke the fucking deal. The punishment for your crime is death." I tried to approach, but got repelled by the line of salt. She tried to approach, but got repelled by the line of salt, surprisingly still intact in front of the door frame. I watched her walk away and come back with a knife in one hand and a bucket of water in the other. I grabbed my salt container and was ready to storm out through the window. Carla understood my intentions and threw the knife at me, missing her target by just a few inches. While I opened the window, I heard her pour the water to remove the line of salt, preventing her from entering. I jumped out and started running aimlessly in the dark of the night. "Outlander," I heard Carla scream behind me with rage in that deep male voice. Animalistic roars resounded in all the buildings surrounding me as I saw multiple pairs of white, shiny eyes appearing on the windows. I kept on running, wondering if this night would be my very last in this world. Alright guys, that was part 1 of this story here, but I'm really liking it, so we'll read part 2. Okay, part 2. Whether positive or negative, reality and experience will always beat imagination and speculation. Was it not obvious? The blackout did occur, and I do not think anyone could imagine it to be such horror. I tried to grasp the gravity of my situation while I ran, hoping for it to just be a horrible nightmare. I mean, people do have dreams even when they pass out, right? Well, true or false, my situation was no dream. I was truly a 13-year-old boy in a very dark place, afraid and alone, hunted by over 700 villagers, ready to rip me apart. At some point, out of breath and mentally defeated, I just slowed down and started walking, determined to push myself forward until the last moment. I had run so fast and so far that I could barely hear the roars behind and in the buildings then surrounding me. I could no longer spot any pairs of eyes watching. It looked like Carla's new powerful voice did not reach the area I found myself in, so things were still calm around. All that almost created a false sense of security in my mind. I then heard a faint sound that plunged me back and deeper into darkness. Terrence! I heard Carla, or whatever evil controlled her, call from afar, still with that disturbing male, deep, angry and growling voice. However, she was calling me along with some other people. Fortunately, she did not catch up with me yet, not even enough to at least see me. Therefore, I had a little time margin to do something, anything. I looked around and spotted the house of a friendly and very appreciated villager, Mrs. Robinson. My mind raced as I contemplated the options. Why not? After all, she only lives with her dog, uses a wheelchair, and is 74 years old. She cannot harm me, I thought. Terrence, I heard more clearly. No time to think further, I thought, then ran towards Miss Robinson's house, certain that I could survive a dog attack, but not those murderous people after me. I opened the bed door and found something covering the entrance. I pushed, then shifted it aside, and realized that it was a small wooden table that you probably just placed there to protect that entrance. I then passed my head through the bed door and saw Miss Robinson, unconscious, slumped on her wheelchair, an empty cup still hanging from one of her fingers. I stopped for a few seconds, then squeezed myself through the opening until I was completely in the house. As I was placing the small wooden table back to its initial position, I heard something growl behind me. I dashed towards the stairs without first locating it while the dog gave chase. One of the rooms had its door open, therefore I sped inside before closing the entrance behind me. The large dog let out its powerful and loud barks behind the bathroom door because, while I peeked through the window, a fairly large group of people, led by Carla, walked into the alley. I could not believe my own eyes and almost forgot about the old dog when Carla suddenly stopped and lifted her hand to hold the group. She then slowly turned her head towards Miss Robinson's house. She heard the barking. Terrorized, I hid and immediately started shushing the animal to no avail. The dog kept on barking, plunging me further into despair. I peeked again through the window and saw Carla, or should I say my doom, slowly approaching the house. She disappeared from my sight and reached the entrance door. The dog might have sensed her since at an instant it ran downstairs. I could hear it barking while I watched the outcome through the window, and after a few seconds I saw Carla leaving, immediately followed by the group, except for one woman who kept staring at the window. I hid again, hoping that she had not spotted me. When I peeked again, I saw her joining the rest of the group and I rejoiced at them going away. Terrence! I did not understand. I know that they were confident predators, but did they really expect me to answer? You can't escape. You'll die today, Carla added. That could not be my baby sister. Some relief at last, I thought. I sighed and sat on the bathroom floor, my face buried in my hands and on the verge of crying. What a 13-year-old kid may have done to deserve this. So much hell for my frail shoulders. An entire village full of monsters with the shining eyes, except for myself and the dog. Wait, I thought, where is it? I wondered when I realized that I could no longer hear it. I stood up and started looking for anything solid enough that I could use as a weapon. I literally ransacked the bathroom when something behind the bathtub caught my attention. A piece of brown cloth and enveloping something apparently square. By some curiosity, I took the time to pull it and discovered what was hidden in Mrs. Robinson's bathroom. There was a diary that looked ancient, those that seemed to belong in a museum. I opened it and noticed there was no writing inside, but only drawings, depicting various kinds of situations, scenes, and maps. The representations were so different that it was obvious they were drawn by different people. However, I was sure that all of them revolved around the village and the blackout. The second item I found was a mechanical wristwatch, one of those powered by movements and no batteries. I knew nothing about the time when I found it. However, concerning the sunrise during that month in the village, I knew exactly when it usually occurred and was ready to set the time at that moment. I opened the door crack and peeked, trying to spot the animal. It was nowhere around. Knowing it would not work on the dog, I left a container of salt in the basin, along with the diary and the watch, then exited the bathroom, only armed with a toilet brush I found. After a few seconds of waiting, to see if the dog would rush back upstairs, which it did not. I then grabbed it, going downstairs, with Miss Robinson in my mind. The old lady was always worried about each blackout. She had nobody to rely on during this terrible day. She could not risk to have anyone with her in the house, not knowing if the person would turn dangerous during the blackout. On the other hand, she could herself be the violent one. Therefore, her only company throughout the blackout was her protective dog. Obviously, the blackout did not seem to affect animals, at least not a dog, and from what I saw of her earlier, I hoped that she did not choose a harmful way to escape his nightmare. Shit, I let out, losing control over my lips due to the dread awakened by the scenery before my eyes. The wheelchair was empty, and Miss Robinson and the dog were nowhere to be seen. Giggles then resounded and echoed in the deafening silence of that horrible night. It sounded like the giggles of a much younger woman. Rapid running footsteps followed, and also stopped abruptly, just like the giggles. I started walking backwards, creeping back upstairs, my heart pounding in my chest, my eyes widened. I was shaking to the core when she said something that froze the blood in my veins. "I see you," she stated playfully before giggling again. I turned and ran, the salt container in mind, when I heard the rapid footsteps getting closer this time. I felt something fly over my head and saw Miss Robinson land on the staircase and at some distance in front of me. I froze, unable to grasp what I just witnessed, while she slowly turned and looked at me, her wide, shining eyes glowing in the dark, and her lips curved into a crazed smile. I turned again and ran downstairs, unable to think straight, and took a random direction that led me to her kitchen. "We'll have so much fun today. Don't worry, I'll keep you all to myself, Outlander," she said as soon as she came in, her voice clearly sounding like that of a much younger but very crazy woman. After all these years, I finally get a new toy. "Well, Outlander, let's play a game," she added, her smile suddenly vanishing from her face and arming herself with the largest knife from the block set next to her. Please, Miss Robinson, you don't have to do this. It's me, Terence, Penelope's son," I pleaded, certain that she was about to hurt me mercilessly. Her reply, however, reflected her evil intentions and left no doubt in my mind. "The game is called Red, so hooked. I'm gonna read part 3. I already saw that there's a part 4 also. So I don't know how many parts we have to go through, but we're doing it. Okay, so grab a snack if you're not already asleep, or get comfy. We're in this together, alright? I'm so hooked. This is a good story. Alright. Red bloody kitchen. Miss Robinson sauntered towards me, her crazed smile back on her face. Toilet brush in hand, I braced myself for a vicious attack. She lunged at me, knife fight first, her shining white eyes filled with the glistening hope of lodging the blade into my lower belly. I dodged just in time and hit her with the brush by simple reflex. Ouch, she said in a mocking tone, as we both knew I could not hurt her with that. At that moment, a clever thought crossed my mind. Red bloody kitchen. Yes, kitchen. Miss Robinson's enjoyed the cat and mouse game, taking her sweet time to attack as she fed on my fear. That in return allowed me to take quick looks around, allowing me to spot something I definitely needed. I threw the toilet brush at her face, and she did not even bother to dodge. Then I ran towards the kitchen counter and grabbed a bottle of salt. Outlander, she called after she gasped, placing a few fingers on her lips. So you know about the salt? She asked, her worries covering her face. Sole response was to open the bottle and throw the entire content at her. Once again, she did not move by an inch and received the most salt right on her face, while I rejoiced in my heart, hoping to see her hurt. However, she just looked annoyed and brushed the salt off of her. What a waste, she complained after sighing. Sorry, babe, I'm not the one who needs seasoning here. You're the meal, she said before charging towards me, her vicious smile back again on her face. She pursued me into the living room. I stood behind her table while she was back, sauntering, overconfident about me and being at her mercy. She passed next to a door, and her dog inside barked, hitting the door so violently that it seemed it wanted to tear it down. She probably locked it there earlier before attacking me. Miss Robinson looked at the door, her distraction creating an opportunity for me. I threw the empty bottle of salt I still had in my hand, aiming for her head. She ducked, and I froze when I saw someone standing behind me. I'm catching the bottle with one hand. You missed, she said gleefully before standing back up, completely oblivious to the presence behind her. My turn. Time to end this, Miss Robinson said, preparing herself to throw the knife at me, her eyes filled with anger, hatred, and the intent to kill. But before she could say or do anything further, the person behind Miss Robinson punched her so hard that the old lady seemed to dive forward, and she fell unconscious. The person then approached me. I took the vase on the table and threw it at her, but the woman just diverted it with a little tap. I recognized her. She was the one that spotted me looking at Carla and her group by the window. She had come back for me. The woman was also very well known in the village. It was Adelaide, a mute and discreet woman that also lives alone and was the village florist. Each step she made towards me intensified her fierce look and the brightness of her wide eyes. My heartbeat increased in pace. The dog was still barking, and once more I truly believed that my time was up. The lady then stopped a few meters away from me and shook her head in disappointment. Really? You the Outlander? Dressed and freaked out? Kid, she spoke. She then passed her hands through her hair and walked back as if completely desperate, talking to herself. After all these years, all the decades, the Outlander ends up being a fucking kid. Like for real, she added before chuckling. A would you mind? She responded, angrier and more agitated. What? What's going on? Why are you saying all the same thing? I questioned. You people have been living here for all these years, but you still don't know what the hell's going on here, right? She asked back, then looked at the empty bottle of salt still in her hand. No wonder you tried to use table salt. Dude, table salt. Sea salt, boy, that's what works on us, she added, before chuckling again. Carla, I remembered our parents giving us random salt containers with the content of mine looking and tasting slightly different from what I would call usual or normal salt. If I used sea salt back in our home and Carla used the table salt, that could explain how she could get out of her room but not come into mine. Sea salt. I think I have some left upstairs, I told the lady here. Then go get it, genius, but be fast, we gotta move before Grandma here wakes up, she replied. Wait, she's not dead, and you don't want to kill me like all the others, I asked. It should be obvious by now, I'm not a murderer, so no, I don't really want to kill you, but I really can change my mind if you keep asking such dumb questions. Like for real, she replied, crossing her arms. Okay then, there's something else I found here. It's also upstairs with the salt. Great, mind showing me, she said, leading the way. If you're not Adelaide, then who are you? Who are all of you? I questioned again as we walked up the stairs. We don't have much time, so let me be brief. We are wandering souls from some place, which is maybe the afterlife. I don't really know how to call it. It's the place before heaven or hell, depending on which one you qualify for. Numerous souls like me are trapped or stuck there because of our unfinished business. Each blackout allows us to possess your bodies, just random bodies, so that we get to be alive again in this world for 24 hours. My name is Edelyn. By the way, I died in 2013, and the psychosuit you saw inside Grandma, that's Nadia, a mental asylum escapee wasted by the police back in 2004 after she slaughtered 9 people. What? We don't share your memories. We don't even know who you are. We just fully use your bodies for a day, usually regardless of your physical conditions, but not always. And the next day, you'll come back. Sad thing, there's no filter about which souls show up during the blackout. So any good fellow can pop up for one more slice of life, one more chance to right a wrong, along with the psychos and serial killers who would do anything for one more kill, just like Nadia here. Hope it makes sense to you, because I'm not repeating myself. What? How's that possible? Anything is possible in this world. People are just oblivious to it. It's like being blinded by a spell, and the people of this village surely are. When I think about how ignorant I was, all that is a result of a very evil act, and it has to be stopped by you. Me. You're the Outlander, Terrence. Do you think it's random? It's not. You're the success obtained after many failed attempts, and the first Outlander, she replied. Here, she asked when we reached the open bathroom door, and I responded with a nod. We entered the room, and she immediately saw the items in the basin. That's more like it. Take it and keep it far away from me, she said about the salt. I found those things hidden here, I revealed, pointing at the diary and the watch. You found them, Edlin spoke, opening the diary. You're truly the Outlander. Everything, all the answers are right here. Answers to what? All these random drawings, maps, it doesn't really make sense to me, I said. Oh yeah, that's right. You know we can talk and communicate and all that, but we can't read or write in that state. That's the only way my fellow rebels found to leave clues about what happened. Fellow rebels. Sounds of drums suddenly arose from far, plunging Adeline into absolute terror as she began looking all around her. Already, she spoke. She then quickly put the diary and the watch back in her backpack and handed it to me. "What's going on? What's that?" I asked. "He's here. He has arrived," she replied. "Who?" "Red-Eye, the one behind it all. Our enemy. Your nemesis." "My nemesis?" "Listen to me, Terrace. Go to that Adelaide's house and wait for me there. Don't come out until I come back. We are about to go to the square to meet him. None of us can resist him, but you can. Please don't follow me. Don't go to the square even if nobody can't notice you. Go to her house and wait for..." Adeline stopped, her eyes suddenly going from a shining white to a red glow as an empty expression seized her face. "Adeline," I called, not sure of what was going on and what she was about to do. "Long live Red-Eye, master of the crafts, shepherd of our souls. Long live Red-Eye, master of the craft, shepherds of souls," she repeated. Adeline then turned to the door, hypnotized by an unknown power, and walked out of the bathroom, still repeating the same words. I followed her closely, even though she no longer paid any attention to me. Downstairs, I found Nadia, or Miss Robinson, if you want, walking towards the house entrance door with red, glowing eyes, and saying the same words over and over again. She broke the door with only one punch, and they both exited the house. When I followed them outside, I found many others in the same condition, ignoring me and walking towards the square from which the sounds of drums came from. Their slow and little steps drew them closer to Red-Eye, the one behind the door, my nemesis. Alrighty, you guys. I'm praying it does have a part 5. I don't know how long this is gonna be. Oh, we'll just be sticking it out, okay? I hope this doesn't go to like part 25. This is an entire book. But I hope you're hooked, because you're not getting anything else today, basically. I don't know. We'll see. Alright. What on earth just crossed my mind? How would I even know? The only fact I remember about that particular moment is that I chose not to listen to Adeline. They all kept on saying the same words at the exact time, controlled by a power that beat my wild imagination. Long live Red-Eye, master of the craft, shepherd of souls. Adeline told me that I was the only one that he could not control. However, I found myself attracted, curious and driven by the need to understand what I was witnessing. As the sounds of the drums influenced the rhythm of my heartbeat, I followed them, invaded by a dread that rose at each step forward. When I finally reached the square, the scenery terrorized me so much that I ran and hid behind a truck, hoping he did not see me when the villagers advanced towards the entity that summoned them. "Souls of the Midway realm," he said with his deep yet tender voice, slightly altered by his mask. Sorry guys, my cat's talkative. His appearance left no doubt about his identity. Red-Eye, the one behind the blackout phenomenon, the enemy, stood in the middle of an estrade with an attire totally covering his skin. He wore a black and gold ceremonial cloak embroidered with interlaced circles, and there was one big symbol resembling a compass on the chest area. The nemesis face was hidden behind a golden mask with the sealed facial features, except for a third open eye on the forehead, through which a bright red light shone. On his left and right side stood the decomposing corpse of a man and a woman, the eyes divided of any light, dressed with black coats, each of them beating drums. 2 seconds. Drumming stopped alongside with the villagers walking towards him, even those who had not yet reached the square. Souls of the Midway Realm, it is once again time for the annual harvest. We've come a long way and are getting closer to the achievement of our dreams and goals. For this covenant, many sacrifices have been made, a lot of blood has been shed, and this day, only one last obstacle stands in our way. In my immense kindness, I promise to handsomely reward whoever brings the Outlander alive to me, he said calmly, his calm and reassuring voice contrasting with his dark intentions. Once again he lifted his hand up for a short time, and I saw my entire family joining him on the estrade. I know that you can see me, Outlander, or at least you can hear me. Come to me. Do not fear anything. Just come to me if you want your family to stay alive. Death shall be the punishment for anyone who breaks the covenant. The last words stunned me like a bomb explosion. I froze, my eyes widened and riveted on my family. It took me at least 10 seconds to realize that Red-Eye had released his spell after his speech. The village's eyes returned to the previous white, shining light, and they would surely resume their hunt for me. As soon as my senses returned too, I hid under the truck, surrounded by all those souls who just received a clear order from the enemy. I trembled under the vehicle, without any shred of an escape plan or how to save my family, and remained there for what seemed like hours, just watching feet of people walking in various directions. Nevertheless, my hiding place turned out to be the perfect spot to eavesdrop at the most unbelievable conversations. Discussion 1 with science as the topic. Soul A. Such a wonderful achievement. When did you invent it? Soul B. Well, after 5 years of failure and research, I finally found the right formula in 1879. Soul A. Wonderful. Discussion 2 between two sportsmen. Soul A. And played on a rectangular field. Played it up to 1968. It's called soccer. Soul B. Soccer. A strange name for strange entertainment. In my time and land, we only had gladiators. I was one of them. Soul A. You were a gladiator? Hey, you died during a fight, didn't you? Conversation 3 between two sick individuals. Soul A. Well, I don't really remember, but I'm sure I killed over 30 of them, cooked and ate most of them. Soul B. 30. Low score, buddy. I killed exact 79, only blondes. Got caught before I could hit 80. Got fried in 1980. Ironic, huh? And you, when did you get here? Soul A. Me. Never get caught. That's the bonus of low scores, like you said. Such a shame you got fried. Wonder what you tasted like though. They both laughed. Very funny indeed. Somebody then crashed on the floor all of a sudden, right next to the truck. I don't know who or what dropped him there, and especially who or what mangled his body. It was Mr. Pavel, a friend of my father. He noticed me hiding and smiled viciously through his agony, trying to say a word, and pointed me. I shook my head, begging him not to do it, my heart about to explode in my chest. Before he could do me, the white light in his eyes disappeared, and one more villager had expired. As soon as the opportunity arose, I got out from under the vehicle and ran towards the nearest building. I looked around and ensured that nobody could see me hiding, then peeked in the direction I came from to confirm that nobody saw me running. However, when I turned, intending to proceed to Adelaide's house, I found myself face to face with Colin, a police officer sister. Paralyzed by fear, I stood immobile, waiting for him to shout and alert his fellow souls. Instead, the soft and worried voice of a very young boy resounded as soon as he spoke. "Have you seen my mommy and daddy?" he asked. Sorry, no, kid. I haven't seen them. Are you lost? Where did they leave you?" I asked, clumsily and nervously. "I don't really know. We were in the car. Mommy and Daddy were yelling at each other, and then they screamed. And then there was a big noise, and I woke up somewhere. But they were not there anymore," said the little boy inside Colin. What a sad situation, I thought as I sighed. What would I explain? How would I explain death to such a little and innocent soul? "Can you help me?" he requested, obviously unaware that he was talking to the Outlander. "What's your name?" "Carson." "Listen, Carson, I don't know, I can try, but first you have to give me that," I said, pointing at the gun in Colin's holster. He looked at the pistol and almost gave me a heart attack when he just unholstered the weapon without precaution and handed it to me. I grabbed it, put it in the bag, and sighed it in relief, but before I could say or do anything, I heard the voice, the words that I would always hate till the end of my life. "Outlander," someone shouted from afar. Fear overwhelmed me instantly, and I took off running, watched by an underfaced Carson, obviously oblivious about everything that was happening. I think about it now that I'm typing this and cannot help being sad and sorry, but my only objective at that moment was survival. Once again, I ran, taking random turns, while ensuring that I was getting closer to Adelaide's house. Most, if not all of them, ran in the direction of the soul who shouted, while some of them jumped from roof to roof, roaring like tigers. Alternating between hiding and running, I made my way to Adelaide's house, unnoticed until I reached her living room window. Suddenly, somebody opened it, seized me by the collar, and yanked me inside. It was Adeline. "I thought I told you to wait for me here. Why do you teens never listen?" she spoke while I gathered myself, not knowing what I could respond. "You could have gotten caught and killed. Had a friend created diversion for you." "Killed? I thought Red Eye needed me alive," I replied. "Oh really? Newsflash hero. He ain't planning on keeping you alive. He just wants to kill you himself." "If it means survival for my family, then so be it," I spoke after standing up. A moment of silence followed before Adeline broke it with a sigh. "I understand, Terrence, but remember, there are many more lives involved in this than just your family." "I'm not letting my family die, you understand?" I growled, on the verge of tears, my mind, emotions, and feelings racked by a night that was turning more and more nightmarish. "What would you do?" "I have a plan, but there's something I need you to do first," Adeline said calmly. "A plan? What do we do?" "You're human, Terrence. I will keep watch until dawn, but in the meantime, sleep. You need it." Her words echoed in my mind with a relaxing effect. I needed to rest indeed, aided by the sense of security provided by her presence. I fell asleep almost as soon as I lied down on the nearest couch. Reality soon reminded me that nowhere is safe during a blackout. It started with fainting a thumping noise loud enough to make anyone jump, especially in such circumstances. I woke up and noticed that Adeline was absent. "Adeline," I called, only getting silence for an answer. Forgetting that I had salt, I took out the gun from the backpack with no idea how to use it. I was just ready to pull the trigger. I followed the sounds to a cupboard in Adelaide's bedroom. Its door had the symbol resembling a compass that I saw earlier on Red Eye's ceremonial cloak. Upon discovered the hidden entrance of a secret and very dark basement. The sounds came from there. Part 5. By the way, guys, this story is sponsored by the user AngelM01. Yep. Alright. Part 5. Should I just leave? If I do, then what about Adeline? She proved quite absent for somebody who promised to keep me safe while I slept. Was that her? Adeline, is that you? I called. The culprit just ignored me, and the thumping sounds continued. Going there without any source of light was not happening. I went back to the kitchen in search of anything useful, and only found a matchbox. Disappointed, but still determined, I made my way back to the basement entrance. Its darkness contrasted with the flowery setting of Adelaide's house, a fact that watered down my fear and fueled my curiosity about why a florist had a hidden basement. I remember my 13-year-old self hoping not to find a giant carnivorous plant in there as I stepped on the staircase. With the heavy gun still in my head, I lighted the first match that immediately dropped because my whole being trembled at the unknown waiting for me in the depth of Adelaide's basement. I highlighted another match and progressed, the thumping sounds getting louder, and I finally reached the end of the staircase after the 5th match. On the wall next to me, I spotted a wooden lever which I pulled, despite knowing there was no electricity. To my surprise, after hearing a clicking sound, the thumping noises stopped, and I saw several wall torches light up to reveal a much more disturbing scenery. Multiple dry bones littered the floor, and paintings covered the walls, all leading to a shrine made out of countless human skulls, above which there was a big representation of Red Eye. A few meters away there was a desk covered with books and notes, as well as 4 metallic doors, each provided with a small and square vision panel. 3 of the doors were closed, and one was open and broken, revealing the darkness inside one of the rooms. Adeline, I quietly called, immediately answering with 2 shining white eyes appearing on the vision panel of one of the closed doors. I gasped and jumped back. "You're not her," the soul said. Who are you?" I asked. Please let me out. Help me before she comes back." "Who? Before who comes back?" "Adeline. She's crazy. She killed them. She killed them all. She will kill us too if she comes back. She's crazy. Can't you see a shrine? Please help me. Help me." Almost knocked out by such a revelation, I advanced, taking a closer look at the shrine before I turned to the desk, while the prisoner kept on pressuring me for help. I opened the first book on my hand, and immediately was greeted with what resembled witchcraft symbols, ritualistic imagery, and instructions. "Wait, I know that souls like you are super strong. Why didn't you break the door?" I asked. "Take a closer look, boy," he answered. I approached the metallic door and could see what was preventing him from leaving. There was a layer of something vicious that had dried, and that it was mixed with sea salt. She put it everywhere, on the door, the walls, and the ceiling, except the floor. I tried to dig, but the ground is too strong, the soul said. "The noises, it was you. This nullifies our power upon contact, and it burns. I can't even punch it or kick it, and I don't have any clothes I can use, and it's cold here. Please help me," he pleaded. "How do I open this?" I questioned. "I wouldn't do that," Adeline suggested behind me. Terrified, since I haven't seen an action before at Miss Robin's house, I turned around, handling the gun with both hands and aiming for her head. Hey, easy Terrence, easy. I don't know what that freak told shouted. Is this what you guys do? I asked, gesturing to the shrine with my hand while keeping my eye on Adeline. Don't listen to me, Terrence. Don't listen to him, Terrence. This is not me. This is Adelaide's doing. Her house, remember? Adeline said as she started approaching me slowly. You mentioned your name, Adeline. From what you told me earlier, you can't know Adelaide. Your souls don't share memories. He knows you, I replied. Because I was there earlier, I found them trapped here. It's true, she said. She will kill us both. Kill her. Shoot, the prisoner shouted. Don't get close or else, I warned, sweating, trembling, and nervous about my next move. My life depended on it. Listen, Terrence, we, the souls involved in this, the blackout, we are divided in 3 groups. Those who are against Red Eye, the rebels like me, the neutrals who only care about their desires, and those who follow Red Eye, the devotees. Flavio, the soul inside that guy behind you, he is one of them. The only thing he wants is to join the others out there, Adeline revealed, still approaching. Kill her before she kills you, Flavio shouted. Adeline, don't come closer. Don't make me do this, I spoke, still shaking and slowly stepping back. Watch out, she shouted, pointing at Flavio behind me. A strong hand seized me by the collar and yanked me towards the metallic door. In absolute panic, I pulled the trigger several times, shooting until no bullet was left. In the struggle, Flavio's forearm made contact with the salted mixture, and he released me before screaming and crying in pain. I stepped away from the door and dropped the weapon, while I crouched and curled up. Adeline slowly stood up. We both looked at Flavio's cell door in silence for a few seconds. Is that bad? I asked her. Yes, really, really bad, she answered, showing some severe burns on her right hand. I woke up in one of the cells without a single cloth. I had to pull out enough hair from Adelaide's head, wrap it around the hand to safely punch open that door, she told me, pointing at the broken door. Adelaide, maybe a line of salt in front of the door would have done the job. At least she tried. I said, there's a pile of that salt mixture in the corner of the cell. I bet the key was buried under for her to use when she comes back, Adeline said. I hadn't found the time to tell you earlier. Your dear Adelaide is a human devotee. This is fucking insane. Rebels are just a very few, and devotees are how many? Didn't know there were that many, she added. Humans do. This is going too far. I checked the notes and books earlier. I found some interesting things, but I could not read it. You know. She spoke. Can you show me? I proposed, and she walked around towards Adeline's desk. Adeline, I called. She turned to me, amplifying the shame I felt for what had occurred earlier. I'm sorry I doubted you. It's just, I tried apologizing. Little boy, got some manners. That's great. Else I would have battered you with one punch. Don't worry, I'm not mad at you for shooting at me, she said. Come on, we're still in a hurry, and that Adelaide of yours got a lot of explanations to do, she added, walking towards the desk. From what I saw, she tried to achieve something on her own and in favor of Red Eye's plan. She kidnapped and used some of the villagers for her rituals. You can see that most of them didn't make it. Judith in the cell will surely know the same fate after the blackout when she comes back, unless you survive and expose her. Adeline spoke after opening a book on a certain page and showing the content to me. An outlander. She's trying to create an outlander. That's what is written, I revealed. Sick witch, Adeline said. Nobody can create an outlander, just a bunch of ignorant fools, Flavio spoke. Nobody asks you shit, nutcase. Just shut the fuck up, Adeline replied. Just, what's the plan? That red-eye man, what does he want from me? What are we all? Why is he doing this? I questioned. Ellen took another book and quickly turned pages until she stopped on one with the drawings of several spirits being absorbed by a strange, shining scepter. I have an idea of what's written, but I have to hear it from your mouth and make sure, she said. It says that this ritual is called transcendence, and that transcendence, that was what our leader warned us about. Assimilation and annihilation. Terrence, we're all in trouble. Everyone's in danger. If he gets a hold of you. That's not what the transcendence means, you ignorant, Flavia interrupted. Believe me, Outlander, you'll regret trusting her. You'll regret, he added. Just shut it, Flavio, Adeline said. Still can't believe Adelaide is involved. Do you think they are more like her? I asked. They are. Let me check. I'm sure I found some sort of diary earlier. Yeah, that's the one, she said before finding and handing me the diary. The diary was mostly filled with pictures. Pictures of the people she kidnapped, people that I knew. Pictures of the inhuman things she did to them, their pains and suffering immortalized in those sick photographs. I kept on turning pages until I saw several group pictures. They all stood next to Adelaide, all of them smiling at the lens, and dressed in red ceremonial cloaks with a symbol resembling the compass on their chest. Disgusted, I looked at them until familiar faces struck me with surprise and disbelief. No, you can't be. Not you. No, I said in complete denial. I felt sick and dizzy again and dropped the diary. I just wanted to get out of that basement. Therefore, aided by the wall, I painfully walked towards the exit, hyperventilating and ignoring Edlin. Terrence, what's that? What's happening? She kept on asking. When I reached the living room, I had Edlin close the secret entrance to the basement and the closet. However, something more ominous had come our way, as I saw several shadows through the windows, taking the direction of the entrance door. I ran back to the bedroom. They found us. They're here, I told Adeline in the corridor. What? Okay, I'll handle that. Hide in the room, quick, she suggested, and went to receive the visitors who already took the freedom to open the door and make their entrance. Adeline, what a fucking surprise, I heard one of the souls say. I recognized the voice. It was the soul inside Carla. Not nice to see you, Razor, even in a cute little girl's body, Adeline replied. Oh, Adeline, I'm so touched by the compliment. Well, one of my guys swears he heard gunshots coming from this house. And you know, as a fucking good and concerned citizens, we just came to check in on whatever was going on here, Razor said. You guys gotta be high. What gunshots? Adeline answered, while I entered Adelaide's closet, standing right in front of the secret basement door. At that point, I could no longer hear clearly what was being said, even though I tried hard for a few minutes. Afterwards, I could hear several people searching the house. I thought about hiding in the basement until Adeline finds me there later. I did not even open the basement door when I heard one of the intruder open the cupboard's door and with a hoarse male voice, he quietly said two words that meant the end for me. Got you. Alright, you guys, that is the last part. Part 5 was only published 8 days ago, so I'm guessing this story will be further continued in the future.